Hey everyone, my name is Kelvin Liu, and I'm going to demo one of my Python programs called DrawCam. The premise of DrawCam is pretty simple. It tracks and draws the path of an object using a webcam. However, the underlying code essentially enables a user to interact with his or her computer without a mouse or a keyboard. It turns a regular webcam into a very simplified version of a camera that creates a natural user interface, such as the Microsoft Kinect. Let's go ahead and see how it works. Alright, so before going into the code, here's how a person would use the program. DrawCam.py is executable, so we can simply launch the program by double-clicking it. And now we're presented with a live feed from this laptop's camera. But there's also a red square in the middle. This is where a user would place an object to tell the computer what to track. But before we do that, I'll bring up the Help menu by pressing H on the keyboard. So this is the Help menu. It basically tells you all the key commands that you'll need to use this program. First of all, we have H, which toggles the information. So if I press H again, it'll bring me back to the live feed. Next, we have space, which is used to calibrate the camera. Like I said before, a user is going to place an object into that red square, and then the camera calibration will be activated when they press space. Next, delete and backspace are used to clear the drawings, which will end up being very useful. And finally, escape is used to exit the program. Of course, you can also exit the program by pressing the X button. Alright, so now that we know the controls, let's go ahead and start using the program. I found that it works best when you use an object that has somewhat of a contrast between it and the background. So that's why I'm going to be using this magenta Sharpie. I'll place it pretty close up to make the calibration easier and press space. And now you can see how the computer is already tracking its movement. So it's a pretty smooth line generally. And to delete all of this, we'll click delete on the keyboard. And it starts back up right away, which is why delete is so handy. And let me try to write a message. Hello. Okay, so I think you guys get the basic point of this program. It's just for fun, and there's not much other functionality outside of that. But again, like I said, it's pretty cool that a couple lines of code can allow you to interact with your computer in such a way. And later I'll tell you about what other things you could do with this type of code. Alright, so now that we've seen how the program works, let's look into the code. As you can see here, there are two Python files, drawcam.py, which is the main program, and then classes.py, which holds the camera class for this program. Let's look at DrawCam first. So up here, we just have basic imports and then the initialization. And then, similar to all Pygame programs, you have the while true loop, which basically refreshes the screen as many times as you want until you get a command to exit. And then here we have the events for keystrokes, which are used to calibrate the camera or delete the path. So that's basically it for this program. Most of the code is in the classes file in a class called camera. And basically up here you have the imports and some information. And in the initialization, we see that I set up the size to be 640 by 480. as well as all the other surfaces used for drawings, for text, and some lists that hold the positions of the object. Another important part is the function CamStream, which basically enables the camera to show the live stream. And how it works is it waits for the camera to be ready to send an image and then sends it to the surface. And then it has to flip that image to get the mirror effect, which makes it a lot easier to draw. And getColor is used to find the average color that was within the square when the user presses space. It will show the color in a small square in the top left corner for about a second. So now we're at MakeMask, which is another very important function for this program. Basically, it takes the color that getColor found and tells the computer to only care about pixels of that color, which effectively makes a mask so the computer can only see those pixels. And here it looks at each cluster, makes sure that the cluster is big enough so it's not tracking random things like noise. And that's basically it. So at this point, you've already seen a demo of my program and some of its most useful functions. As I've mentioned before, some of this code can be modified and expanded to create more of a natural user interface between a person and a computer. I think a variant of this code could be used to enable gestures on any computer with a webcam. Furthermore, it could allow someone that's making a presentation to easily mark up slides, or they could create annotations on a document without having to type. Now that's essentially all I wanted to cover today. I hope you enjoyed this video and the demo of DrawCam. Thank you for watching.